Hey everybody, it's Galmadex and welcome back to some more Magic Arena. Today we have another live draft of the Innistrad Crimson Vow. So without further ado, here's the draft. Alright, so here we are in the first draft tonight, and we have an excellent rare that I think I'll just slam. The Concealing Curtains, 1 mana for a 0/4 defender. For 3 mana you flip it into a 3/4 menace and take the best card out of your opponent's hand, make them discard it and draw something else instead. I think this card is very, very good, and just quite like it. Attacking with a 3/4 menace on turn 3 is a really impressive threat. So this card's very, very good. If this weren't in the pack, Bleed Dry is a super excellent removal spell in black. Instant speed, kills pretty much anything with -13/-13, and exiles it, so you don't have to worry about any recursion. So Bleed Dry is super, super good too, and removal is important in this format, and this fills all of the roles you want your removal to do. It's instant speed, it exiles. Bleed Dry has just been a real standout removal spell. And then if Bleed Dry weren't in here, then we start looking at like Storm Chaser Drake as a pretty excellent uncommon, but I'm just going to take the sick rare Concealing Curtains here. Card has been super nasty. So pack 2, or pick 2, what do we have? Some kind of filler black cards. Doom Dissenter, pretty good in exploit decks, and Annoying Blocker. Edgar's Awakening, also pretty filler, like good with blood tokens to discard it, draw a creature back from your grave to hand, and draw the card off of the blood. But if you're just hard casting this, 5 mana to return a creature from your grave to the battlefield, the only color pair that's really getting a discount from that is going to be green-black. Otherwise, you'd only really want to run this if you have a lot of big bomb creatures. That way you're kind of just using this to play it as your second bomb. So not super exciting black cards in this pack. We have Twin Blade Geist, which is pretty great for aggressive decks in white. Maybe take that, move into white-black. Kindly Ancestor, really annoying. Just a lot of lifelink on this card. A 2/3 lifelinker and then an aura that gives lifelink. Or, Falconwrath Celebrant's great red finisher. Scattered Thoughts, fine blue draw spell. I'll just take the most powerful uncommon here, I guess. Scoop up the Twin Blade Geist. Nice aggressive card. So I feel like I'm supposed to just take Valor's Stance here, because it's another fantastic removal spell. This one's a bit flexible, so if your opponent doesn't have a big creature out, you can just give something indestructible and use it as a sort of combat trick or a protection spell that way. But I do really like Biolume Egg, and it would be super fun to play if we end up in blue-black. When you can exploit the Biolume Egg, sacrifice it to something, you get to turn it into a 4/4, which is really nice, because you're getting that as well as the benefit of whatever exploit card you played, like the Stitched Assistant or anything like that. So Biolume Egg is super sweet in blue-black, but we are already in white a little bit, and Valor's Stance is sweet for literally any white deck. So I'll just take the nice, flexible, cheap removal spell. Alright, so if we do move into white-black, the Restless Bloodseeker is likely to be quite good. White and black have a bit of a life gain sub-theme in this set, and this will spit out a blood token whenever you're gaining life. And if you sacrifice 2 blood tokens, you turn into a 3/3 that has a mana sink ability for 5 mana to drain your opponent some more life. Really good rate there. Like, the worst case scenario is it's a 2 mana 1/3, which is not terrible. Like, if you think about it, that's the worst case scenario on Parish Blade Trainees. It's a 2 mana 1/2 that doesn't do anything. This is just like strictly better than that in a lot of ways. So pretty happy to take Bloodseeker here. Although I could see somewhat of an argument for Grizzly Ritual, because you should take removal really highly in this format. Although this being sorcery speed and 6 mana, one of the lower picks for removal for me. Even though removal has played super well here. Ooh, Bloodtithe Harvester. That's somewhat of a sign for black-red here, but there are still good white cards in the pack. Drogskull Infantry, Fierce Retribution, both solid commons here. And our white cards are good, Twin Blade Geist and Valorous Stance, but our black cards are good too. The rare Concealing Curtains and the solid uncommon Vampire, the Restless Bloodseeker. That combos well in just a blood deck too, don't necessarily need life gain. I think Bloodtithe Harvester is such a good card. It's powerful enough I'm going to take it here, even though this means that we don't get to run every single card that we drafted unless we play 3 colors, which is not super likely. So we're going to end up cutting a color at some point here. Cut the red or cut the white. But now we have 3 black cards. So now I do enjoy Undead Butler, so I could probably just take that here. It's pretty great with like cheap creatures that you want to bring back from your graveyard. So pretty good combo with the Concealing Curtains, Revealing Eye if this card gets destroyed early in the game. Just bring it right back, replay our nice bomb rare. Yeah, not too much else. Not too much else in this pack in black, white, or red. There's some good blue cards though. But I don't think we're going down that path right now. Alright, love me a Bloodcrazed Socialite. It's the miniature version of the Falconwrath Celebrants. It's a 4-mana 3/3 menace that gets 1 blood token. And you can sacrifice the blood token when it attacks to give it +2/+2 till end of turn. Attack is a 5/5 menace. Just a really massive swing with that, so take the Bloodcrazed Socialite. It's also just great for the blood theme we have going on. Even if we're in black-white, we're going to make good use of blood tokens with our Restless Bloodseeker. And if we're in black-red, then obviously with Blood Scythe Harvester and stuff, we're really going to make use of them. I'll take another Bloodcrazed Socialite here over the Grizzly Ritual. Could be wrong, because again, we should be taking removal somewhat highly, but this is just the worst of the removal spells in black or red, I would say. And Socialite's one of the best creatures at common in black. So the quality difference between a Bloodcrazed Socialite and a Grizzly Spectacle is pretty huge. Even if it would be nice to pick up the removal. Oh, pretty weak pack here. I guess we're just taking Fearful Villager. I have liked this card. Nice menace creature, really good during the night. 4/3 menace, often one of the bigger threats on the board. We're definitely in black here. Every single black card in our deck is just quality. Concealing Curtains, Bloodseeker, Butler, Blood Scythe Harvester, and double Bloodcrazed Socialite. The second color is really up for grabs here at this point. Just take a Ridge Wolf here if we do go black-red. Because we do actually have one other wolf already, the Fearful Villager, so this might be a 3/2 sometimes. And even if it's just a 2-mana 2/2, that's like the kind of filler that makes the cut as your 23rd card. Well, I'll take a 3rd Bloodcrazed Socialite and be happy with it. Be happy for it too. I'm happy for them. They look pretty excited. They're having a good time. Unfortunately, there's too many rules in their text box, so they don't have any flavor text. I guess I'll throw this up here because we're not like committed to a second color. So if we just open up a blue bomb, I guess we're blue-black. Alright, so we didn't open up a blue bomb. We did open up another Blood Scythe Harvester, so we have double Blood Scythe Harvester here. I think we're committing to black-red then, if that's the case. This is just such a fantastic uncommon for the color pair, for the vampire deck, the blood deck, all that kind of stuff. It's a 3-power aggressive beater on turn 2. It's a blood token to filter your draws later. It's a removal spell. It just covers so many bases off the 1 card for such a cheap cost. Just a super lovely, lovely card. Nothing much for us, honestly. Pick 2 here. There's Courier Bat, Bloody Betrayal, and Archghoul of Thraben being the 3 on-color cards. None of them make a lot of sense for what we're doing. I guess we have 1 zombie to combo with the Archghoul, and by itself, not the worst ability ever. So probably just take that. But Courier Bat, we don't have basically any life gain yet. And without it, it's just a 2/2 flyer. I guess theoretically, eventually the Blood-Soaked Reveler could gain some life, but really want to get some like Gluttonous Guests or something to gain some life now and then for the Courier Bats to be good, so I'll just take the Archghoul first. It's also higher rarity, so less opportunities to play around with it and scoop it up. So now I have a lot of 2-drops here. So while Voltaic Visionary is good, it's not super necessary to take another 2-mana card here. That being said, we already have 3 4-drops. Concealing Curtains kind of counts as another 3-mana creature because it's not really doing anything until we spend 3 mana and flip it. So this is what our actual creature curve looks like. What we're really missing out on is removal here. Our deck is literally all creatures, I think. Yeah, it's literally all creatures, and they're all great creatures. So we see any removal, we gotta just slam it. I guess I'll take the Voltaic Visionary here, because we already do have triple Socialite, and they're wheeling around pretty late. So, might get another one later. There's the Gluttonous Guest. That'll make it a Courier Bats that we pick up active, and it will also combo really well with our Restless Bloodseeker, because with the Bloodseeker we can sacrifice the blood token, and then the Guest will make us gain a life, and then the Bloodseeker will just give it right back. So kind of a nice combo, those 2 cards together, kind of exciting. That being said, because our deck is entirely creatures right now, we do want to make sure we have some amount of non-creature spells to really add a little bit of versatility to the deck, so maybe just Reckless Impulse is a solid draw spell. Doesn't seem bad to me. I don't know. The Gluttonous Guest combo with the Bloodseeker just seems pretty neat to me, pretty funny, so I'm just going to take that there. But could definitely be wrong about it. Belligerent Guest. 3 mana, 3/2 trample. Create a blood token whenever we deal combat damage to an opponent. Pretty good deal. Great way to get blood tokens flowing, and we can certainly use blood tokens in this deck. Bloodsworn Squire is like theoretically a good card, but it has always been too slow for me. Maybe that's just been my experience and not really the general experience, but I think I'm low enough on the card to just take Belligerent Guest over it. Alright, now we do get a Flame Blessed Bolt. We're going to have to take that. Literally every card in our deck's a creature, so even though, you know, there's like a big old Lambholt Raconteur or a great 2-drop Blood Petal Celebrant, our deck is really missing out on removal spells, so we really got to take Flame Blessed Bolt here. Even if it doesn't kill everything, it's filling a role that our deck is sorely lacking right now. And this pick's really easy. Phalanx is only for the big toughness decks. Into the Night basically does nothing. And I really don't like Daybreak Combatants. Just not a creature type that really matters. And being only 2 toughness on the 3 mana card is a bit rough when it's not giving us any extra value in any way. It's just for trying to chip in for some damage. There's no way I'm going to play 3 Hungry Ridgewolf in this deck. I already have so many 2-mana creatures, so I'll just pick up a Persistent Specimen. It's possible we play it to play around with our blood tokens, then we have something really easy to discard, but it's also not likely to make the cut, but there's nothing else in here that will. I mean, I guess we can play around with the Wedding Invitation. It draws us a card when we play it, so it immediately replaces itself. It'll also gain us some life, making something unblockable and lifelink till end of turn. So 2 mana, draw a card, gain 2 to 4 life. Not a terrible deal. I'd run a random little Revitalize. Combos with our Bloodseeker, I guess. Alright, so last pack, fingers crossed. Do we get rewarded with anything sweet at rare or uncommon? No. Oh yeah, this pack's very bad for us. I think there are 2 good cards in black or red, and they are Courier Bat and Bloodcrazed Socialite. I guess we could try to splash Helena and Elena, which is probably worth it. This card does look ridiculous. 4 mana for a 2/3 first strike reach. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put X counters on another creature where X is their power. So 4 mana, you're putting a 2/3 first strike reach on the board and putting 2 +1/+1 counters on a different creature. And you're putting 2 counters on a creature every combat. That's gotta be good enough to warrant splashing. Now we just slam any Evolving Wilds that we see, and with enough blood tokens, that will really help splash as well. Because now we just discard our second black source or second red source to dig for the green whenever we have Helena in hand. Alright, I'll take the 3rd Blood Tithe Harvester, don't mind if I do. I guess technically, even though our deck is just a mountain of creatures, we do have 3 Blood Scythe Harvesters, so those are removal spells in a way. Alright, I'm going to take Evolving Wilds over the 4th Bloodcrazed Socialite, because I really want to make sure Helena and Elena are splashable here. The blood tokens help with that too. But yeah, everything else in this pack is just another creature, and we have 5,000 of them, so Evolving Wilds it is. There's certainly some mediocre kind of filler creatures in here I'd like to cut. So we'd like to get like 3 more pretty solid playable non-land cards, so we can cut like Blood Servitor and Double Ridge Wolf. Maybe even the Specimen. We could go Honored Heirloom to help splash Helena and Elena, but I don't love that this takes a card for just a mana rock. I don't know, I could be wrong there, but I'm kind of higher on just another Fearful Villager. And just hoping that Evolving Wilds and a bunch of blood tokens is enough for Helena. Yeah, this could be wrong. Well, Felstinger is just an awesome card. However, again, we are missing on the whole non-creature front, and Blood Fountain is really good with powerful creatures to bring back. Super good with triple Blood Scythe Harvester, fantastic with Concealing Curtains, Helena. Yeah, Blood Fountain seems awesome. Some recursion for this deck seems great. Although there is Gift of Fangs that's like sort of removal, but this card has worked out pretty poorly for me a lot. Probably just a luck factor, and I'm undervaluing the card too much because of how many times I've played against vampires and had that card in hand. So it's not really the card's problem, it's just more my problem. Alright, more non-creature stuff. More non-creature stuff to fill out the deck here. Ooh, Blood Hypnotist on 3. Just lean into our really aggressive vampire curve. Although I do love Falconwrath Celebrants on 5. A 3 mana 3/3 can't block, but when it attacks you can sack a blood token to shut off another blocker. Seems like a pretty good card, but at the same time, I really like Celebrants, and we're missing more on 5 drops than 3 drops. Like, we already have some pretty high quality 3 drops. Like, we cut Blood Servitor here for sure, but we have like 3/4 Menace, the 2/3 4/3 Menaces, the Archghouls even fine. Alright, and we are going to pick up Honored Heirlooms at this point. If I do want to go through with the splash, which I might not. Our card quality might be good enough in just black-red to not warrant the splash for Helena and Elena. It'll be interesting. I'm personally not much of a splasher, so I feel like I splash less often than I should. But at the same time, after just saying that, I really don't feel like I want to splash here in the end. Because we did end up like, this is just a sick, aggressive Vampires curve. We have so many blood tokens, Ragged Recluse is probably pretty good. Maybe even the Statuette's fine, but you have to discard every turn for that to be a 3/3. You only have to discard 1 turn for this Recluse to be a 3/3. Don't think I'll play that Rotside Gargantua. Alright, well, certainly have some deck building decisions here. We could do a green splash for the really powerful bomb, but I don't think this deck needs it. And maybe just leaning into being a more consistent, aggressive vampire strategy is going to end in more just consistently good games. Whereas there will be games, if we do splash Helena and Elena, that our mana base will punish us. Not only just drawing Helena and Elena with no green source, but sometimes we'll just draw the green source instead of like our black or red. So, I mean, there is a real cost to running them. And this deck looks pretty spicy even without them. Biggest issue is our lack of removal, but Blood Tithe Harvesters fill that role pretty well with the amount of blood tokens in our deck. -X, where X is twice the number of blood tokens we have, that should be able to kill most cards later in the game. Yeah, I think I am cutting the green splash here, because that also lets us cut the Honored Heirloom, which I'm very much not looking for in this deck. We need to cut one more card, at this point. Maybe the Archghoul doesn't make too much sense. I mean, the Belligerent Guests are definitely better for our deck than the Archghoul. The Archghoul is just like, when it dies, we get to Surveil 1. That's it. So it's like the 3 mana 3/2 from Guilds of Ravnica. Just one Surveil trigger. We've only got like one other zombie in the deck. Specimen doesn't make too much sense either. It's just kind of fun to discard it to a blood token, but that's not necessarily a good combo. It's just kind of a cute one, because it's not like we get the Specimen back into our hand to discard it to blood tokens again in the future. How many blood tokens do we have, by the way? I'm just curious. It doesn't really matter for how we're deciding on what to cut here, but it would be really cool to know for the power level of our blood tribal stuff. So we have 1 Blood Fountain, 3 Harvester, Gluttonous Guest, Belligerent Guests, 3 Socialite, and 2 Celebrants. We have 12 cards that make blood tokens. Maybe we go 18 lands here then, because we have so many ways to filter out of the lands, and with 18 lands we more consistently can curve out, and then we draw excess lands. We just always have ways to discard them. I feel like we probably go 18 lands here, maybe cut both of these, the Specimen and the Archghoul. I think that's what I'm going to do here. Go with an 18 lander, even though we are aggressive with kind of a quick curve. We just have so many blood tokens, we can definitely filter away all our land drops late game. So by having an excess of lands, we more consistently hit them in the early game, and there's no punishment to hitting too many in the late game, because we have so many ways to just cycle them away. We have exactly even black and red. So I wonder what the 9th is going to be. A 9th swamp or 9th mountain here. When do we want to cast these cards on curve? It looks like a little bit more black cards to cast early than red cards. Just a tiny bit more. The red a little bit later in the curve, with 4 of them being 3 mana, 2 being 5 mana. Sure, we'll throw in another swamp, I guess. All right, I'm pretty excited to play this deck. This looks pretty sweet. Again, our biggest issue is going to be the lack of removal. We have 3 Blood Tithe Harvester and a Blood Blessed Bolt. I don't remember if that's the correct name. The 1 mana bolt spell, but that's only 4, which, I mean, I guess is enough. The problem is we don't have the Bleed Dries. The Bleed Dries really make you feel comfortable. Flame Blast Bolt, thank you, Ryvoke. The Bleed Dries are where it's really at in black, because that's just instant speed, exiles the card, kills it no matter how big it is. So our Blood Tithe Harvesters can kill pretty much anything, but they do it at sorcery speed and have to have remained on the board for a turn. So if our opponent has removal, they can kill our removal with their removal, funnily enough, and that could be an issue for us. So this hand is great. We have our Bomb Rare, our Revealing Eye to try to take over this game, and we hit the turn 2 Blood Tithe Harvester to get even more aggressive. Oh, it has Defender. We can't attack with the 0/4 here. That's kind of sad. Wanted to send a message attacking for 0, so opponent could have Syncopate here, counter unless I pay 1. Not super likely. It's definitely best to just run out the Harvester. If they Syncopate us, they got us. How's it going, Dakota? Yep, a sick Rakdos aggro deck here. Pick 1, pack 1 was the Concealing Curtains Revealing Eye. Didn't really commit into Rakdos till pack 2, where we opened up Blood Tithe Harvester. After having picked one up, like pick 7 or 8 in the first pack, I think. So things are going pretty well. I think I'm just going to flip this Curtains, because these are both just 1 power creatures. They don't really help our aggro that much. And then we just play the 4-drop Socialite, 5-drop Celebrants. Seems good to me. Let's see what's going on in their hand as well. They're on mono blue so far. Turn it to our hand. Well, we still get to make them... No, we don't get to make them discard a card. Never mind. Probably the best color pair in the set. It's good with and without bombs. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. Probably the best color pair because it's got the best removal. Our deck doesn't have the best removal. We don't have any Bleed Dries in here. We only have one Flame Blast Bolt, but we do have the Blood Tithe Harvesters trying to fill that role. There's no way this Whispering Wizard is staying on this board. I'm just not going to deal with that kind of nonsense for my opponent. I've played the 4 Whispering Wizard deck. I can respect the power level of that card. Alright, Scattered Thoughts from our opponent. That should find their second color. And it is a blue-red spells deck, so very glad I just killed that wizard. I'm just going to cast our biggest spell while they're tapped out here. And we're not going to need these blood tokens for a while, so let's just cash them in for extra damage. We are not going to discard any of these. We're just going to dump this all on the board. Their Alchemist's Retrieval is actually looking pretty sweet here, because it did... I mean, it's killed her Revealing Eye for several turns now, because we just haven't had time to play it back on the board with better creatures in hand. Another Whispering Wizard. I would love to kill that immediately, but I cannot. That's an issue. I mean, we're hitting them for 9 damage here, so... like, we're probably fine. Hit them for 9, play a 3-3, play a menacing 3-4. Guess I'll do this pre-combat. Yeah, hit 9, play a 3-4 menace. This is probably better than the 3-3, isn't it? We play a Blood Fountain 2 to get another Blood Token to activate the Socialite. Let's see if they have any weird little 1-red combat trick. I don't think there is one, though. But just in case, we can see what they have before we send in here. Flame Blessed Bolt. They do have that, which can't kill anything we have right now. Our whole board has Menace, so we just get rid of Rending Flame. Sure, they have Cradle of Safety, but... they just play some blockers and try to spit out enough 1/1s to block our Menace creatures, but if we get rid of Rending Flame, I think we're feeling pretty good. So, I mean, next turn, they have the mana to go Cradle and Bolt. That's 2 more blockers. But that's 3 blockers total. That can only block 1 Menace creature, let alone 3. Yeah, they can get 2 1/1s with Cradle and Bolt. But they don't even have the second red there. Oh, that was a smart play from them. Since they can't, like, kill anything with the Bolt, they might as well just cash it in right now, get that 1/1, so they can actually have 4 blockers out this turn by playing Blood Petal Celebrant and Cradle of Safety. Still not enough blockers, but it's as close as they can get. 4 blocks, 2 Menace creatures. Really well played from our opponent, just not a great lineup of draws for them. Stuck on the second color of mana for quite a while, and we had a pretty sick start, so... we probably got this here. Nothing in our hand speeds the clock up at all, so... just send in. And see what they've drawn into. If it's just Cradle of Safety, then this is lethal. Alright, Cradle of Safety, 1 blue mana up. Alright, there's the concession. Alright, so we're 1-0 now, heading into game 2. Yeah, 2-drop, 3-drop, 5-drop. First impressions on the set? I don't know, I like it. I like that the color balance is a lot better, in my opinion, than a lot of recent draft formats. Like, there's positives and negatives as there are in any set. The big positive to me is I feel like most of the color pairs feel like they can make good decks. Green-white kind of sucks, in my opinion. And black-red, I think, is the best by a bit. But I think there's good decks to be had in any color pair. Send a message. Get in there, Bloodseeker. It's definitely very bomby. You should be taking removal really highly in this set. Which I think people are catching on to, because I saw a single bleed dry, and it was in the first pack when I took the rare over it. So the only bleed dry that I saw was in my pack 1. Do we attack in? Yeah, the only way they kill the villagers is if they block and let me kill the farmer, so... I mean, that deals with the 4/3 lifelink problem. Alright, so they just don't block. Here's the Socialite. Celebrant's next turn flips the Bloodseeker as a 3/3, which is cool. Doomed Dissenter. Uh-oh, don't exploit that. They did not exploit that. Good. I was going to be horrified. They were going to have a 4/3 lifelink or a 2/2, and whatever exploit would get them here. How do they block a 5/5? 3 toughness there. I guess they go like there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they go like this, they can't kill it. The only way they can block and kill a 5/5 is if they block with the Desperate Farmer. Yeah, I think I like Celebrant's attack with Socialite as a 5/5 and flip the Bloodseeker. Although I guess I should technically do that post-combat. I've been getting lazy on that front. Just getting excited to dump stuff on the board. Alright, so they take it, flip the Bloodseeker too. We'll still have a blood token left over thanks to Blood Fountain. There's a Cruel Witness. So with Blood Fountain, do we start cashing in creatures just to start whittling down their board? Possibly, but I do want to have some blockers. I want to have like a 3/3 back to block their 4/3 lifelink if that gets flipped. That feels like their best way to potentially get out of a good race for them. Kind of want to play Blood Fountain pre-combat so that I can attack as a 5/5 again. Just cashing in all my blood to get really aggressive. Do we send in the 2/3 as well? Because again, we have a Blood Fountain on the board now, so it's not like we can't get anything that dies back. Probably not, though. Because they can just block with Cruel Witness and the Doomed Dissenter, and then all I get to kill is the Doomed Dissenter. Yeah, it doesn't seem great. Undead Butler's super sweet with the Blood Fountain, so now even if none of our stuff on board dies, we'll have something engraved for it. Alright, stuff on our board is gonna die. But stuff on theirs will as well. So we have options here. We can Undead Butler to fill our grave, with other options to pick up with the Blood Fountain and Butler's death ability. We could just pick up the Socialite with the Fountain, or we could just play a Guest. Kind of on for just playing a Guest, getting another creature on this board, and it's a big enough creature to block and kill Harvester if they want to send that in. So I can trade that way instead of trading there. If I do pass the turn, this will be a 4/3 Menace, which isn't nothing. So that is a consideration towards just using Blood Fountain. Flipping the Fearful Villager to 4/3 Power Toughness. But, I mean, their board's small enough. 3/2 Trampler. Now we can start attacking with everything with 3 or more power now that the board is whittled down. And they don't attack into us well here. They have 2 cards in hand. I think they scryed 1 to the top and 1 to the bottom with the egg, so they're going to draw something good next turn. It's got the Blood Fountain mana. We have the mana to cast Undead Butler and use Blood Fountain. Although Blood-Soaked Reveler, being able to drain them for 2 life is pretty big. We get a Blood Token from doing that as well. Yeah, when they're at 9 life, that's pretty huge. If I attack with Celebrants, they can double block with Harvester and Bloodseeker. And I only kill one of those 2, but I can get their lifelink off of the board. I almost just feel like passing the turn is better here. Because then they're like not gaining any life in the process, and I just start chipping away 2 damage a turn, and the Villager flips to a 4/3 menace. It's really close though. Board state is pretty annoying. I think I'm going to pass the turn. Flip my Villager and get a Blood Soak in here. I could use that Blood Token to discard Butler, then I have 2 things to pick up with Fountain. I can do the reverse order of what I was planning, where I was like, oh, I could play Butler, then there's more stuff to Fountain up, but I could also just discard Butler, then pick that up with Fountain. Really, either way works out fine. Yeah, they're going to have a really annoying board of blockers. Now they're exploiting the egg to get a 4/4. Probably exploit the Dissenter soon enough to get a 2/2. Where's the 4/4? Oh, at the end step. Okay. They are going to cash in the Harvester. Fine. So they're up to 11 now. Ooh, lose 2 life. They do draw 2 cards though, so that's pretty big. Do I want to crack the Blood Token discard Butler? I mean, actually now I just have 2 good creatures for Blood Fountain, so I don't really want to, because I can just spend next turn Blood Fountaining these up and then casting the Butler. Obviously casting Butler first in case I mill something better. Yeah, let's not. Unfortunately, our opponent did double spell there too. It's not fantastic for us. If I Blood Fountain here, I'm not picking anything up immediately. Just dump these creatures on the board past the turn. There's not anything super fancy I can do here. I guess we go Butler first. If there's something wildly good in our graveyard, we Blood Fountain instead. Ooh, well... Our graveyard does look pretty nasty. Pretty sick nasty. You know, I might just pick that stuff up from the graveyard instead. This is definitely turning into a much longer game than I had hoped for. But the blue-black decks are really good at doing that with their creatures that really clutter up the combat. Desperate Farmer to gain 1,000,000 and cards like Doom Dissenter to block twice. Now they have their own Life Drainer card, so we both have one. I think I'm picking up Blood Tithe Harvester from the grave just to kill their Blood-Soaked Reveler so they can't gain any more life. And then we still have the Undead Butler for a later time. Ooh, it is nighttime. Kind of like attacking both the menace creatures then. We're about to play plenty more to block with, and we're at 20 life, so... I mean, cash them in. We still have a butler to bring a card back. Yeah, and we're about to play a 5/5 menace. We can get rid of a 4/3 and 4/4 menace on attacks here. Alright, so the good double block here, those are gone, but they are left with a 2/2 behind that. And then they keep their best 2 creatures on the board, just take 4. Guess that is a problem. I am going to cast 2 spells here if I play both these creatures, which means the Fearsome Werewolf's going to be a 2/3 again. Ooh, okay, so we are gonna trade off here, potentially. Alright, well, I guess they can keep the 3/2 and the 1/1. Get rid of the 2 scariest cards. Okay, cool, so we've dealt with all the most important stuff here. Plus, now our werewolf's gone, so it's okay if we just make it daytime again. Not really losing anything by doing that. And we've got a removal spell on the board at the ready for next turn. Diregraph Scavenger. Drain us some life, have an annoying Death Toucher out. Exile the Celebrant so we can't pick that up with the Undead Butler. Flame Blast Bolt's pretty big. I don't think I want to crack the Harvester to kill the Scavenger just yet. I feel like I just want to attack with Socialite as a 5/5 because they still have to double block and lose 2 creatures. Sure, it trades into the Death Toucher and dies there, but it's killing another one of their creatures as well. I feel like one of the only ways this game can go wrong is if they play like a big massive bomb thing and then we just have to have Harvester to kill that. Although one of the biggest bombs would be the Hullbreaker Horror, which Harvester couldn't kill because they could bounce the Harvester before I can use its ability at sorcery speed. So maybe we do just cash it in. I think I'm going to just not do that. Chill of the Grave. Yep, that's pretty annoying. So we're not really getting in now, are we? No, because this trades off into that, that's terrible. This trades off into that, that's terrible. Don't have anything to discard right now to our blood tokens, so Ragged Recluse isn't really going to flip. Do I just drain life, get another blood? Probably play another menace creature. Yeah. Get the board nice and wide. There's no Wrath effect in blue-black in this format. There's Destroy All stuff that costs 2 or less, but you don't really play that card unless you're black-white, because then you can cleave it and just destroy all creatures. So unless they just go plains, destroy all creatures, I think we should just be dumping everything we can onto the board. Runo Stromkirk. Well, that is going to be what I kill with the Blood Tithe Harvester, because that's the scariest card they've played. Put a creature from their grave on top of their library. They don't have something with mana cost 6 or greater, so it's not going to immediately flip into the 3/5, which is good. Also, we get to kill it before they look at the top card. Yeah, if this flips into a 3/5, we're in for a world of pain, so let's make sure that is not a possibility by just getting rid of it with Blood Tithe Harvester. Reckless Impulse is a pretty fun draw, because we are kind of out of stuff to do, so let's draw some cards. Cool, the mana we need to drain some life here. We won't be holding up Flame Blast Bolt anymore, which is a little sketch, but Probably not necessary. I guess we can just drain them in the end step if we don't need to get the blood token. We don't really need to get another blood token here, so we'll just hold up the Flame Blessed Bolt and drain them in their end step instead of trying to get a blood token out of the Reveler. Alright, there's a land, so we can discard that, flip the Ragged Recluse in our end step. Still have the mana for Bolt and Reveler's ability. Ooh, Wedding Invitation makes something unblockable. It's actually massive here. Hit for 5 unblockable damage with the Socialite. But I think I'm dumping all my mana into just draining them some more. Probably still just offering up the Socialite for the Death Toucher. And we will be flipping the Fearful Villager here, and then that's attacking for 4. It's only 1 less damage than the Socialite's attacking for here. So we can just give that one unblockable. Don't get the life gain off of it, but still. I could kill both of these if I Flame Blessed Bolt, but then I'm not flipping the Villager. Probably still worth it. And we don't have an instant to hold up here, so we might as well get the extra blood token. Looking like Blood-Soaked Reveler's just going to take it here. Yeah, there's the concession from our opponent. Alright, so 2-0 now with this Vampires deck to start off. Really nice Rakdos aggro stuff. I mean, it's definitely a keep. We have both colors. Our really great aggressive card on turn 4, the Bloodcrazed Socialite. Ragged Recluse isn't going to go off for a little bit, but it will be very nice when it does, and we can still play it on turn 2 and start hitting for a couple damage. Ooh, there we go. Gluttonous Guest turn 3 is going to be our first blood token on the board. But it'll still be a while before we crack one and potentially flip the Recluse. Packsong Pup can just get so big. I feel like I'm going to offer the trade here. Gets a +1/+1 counter as long as they control another wolf once per turn. I don't want to just see that card go off later. So I'll offer the trade here. These are both cards that can go off later in the game, so they might take it. They have chosen against that. So that means they are pretty certain they're going to be putting counters on this Packsong Pup. And there they go. It is a 2-2 already. 3-3 next turn, 4-4 after that. Well, let's just start running out some big menace creatures. Start slapping our opponent with. Point of discussion, drawing some cards here. Packsong Pup still doing its thing. We attack with Bloodcrazed Socialite. Whether or not we sacrifice a blood token, it trades for just one of these two. Because it can't be blocked unless they block with both. If we sack a blood token, it's a 5/5, which gets double blocked and only kills one. So I think we attack and don't sack. We've got replacement menace creatures. We have another 3/3 and 2 more 4/4s. So we attack in just trying to kill this Packsong Pup. Again, because that card's just going to go off until we can draw into our Blood Scythe Harvester. I mean, if every creature we play for the rest of the game is Menace, then we do just kind of get there, even though they have a pup going off. So we do have to sacrifice a blood for each Socialite that we attack with now, but we're getting 2 more blood tokens off the Falconwrath Celebrants, so that's fine. And now, again, they can double block and we're only killing one of the two creatures, but we're killing the pup before it becomes a 6/6 or even 7/7, so definitely worth it. Plus our opponent's at 13, so obviously we're staying aggressive here. They are going to go for the double block on one. I'm going to go ahead and just kill the Pack Song Pup. It's harder to kill. It's already more toughness than the 6/3. They do gain life when we kill it, but I'm okay with that. As long as it's not going to be on the board later to kill better things. Well, it is still going to be on the board. However, it does come back smaller than it currently is. It's going to come back as a 1/1. No, a 2/2. So this is better than if we had chosen to put the damage on the Ambusher, because then that would just be a 7/4, and the pup would still be a 4/4. Although I guess with the life gain, it's kind of equally bad either way. They are not ideal. Alright, so our opponent is still on 3 mana here, so cracking the Blood token, discarding the Crushing Canopy to try to draw into some lands. Crushing Canopy, I've found it more main deckable in this format than most because of Blood tokens. If your opponent just doesn't have flyers or enchantments, you just crack it to a Blood token, get rid of it. As our opponent did here. So Gift of Fangs kills our 2/1. That wasn't affecting the game too much, so I'm not super sad about that. Pretty fine with it. I think I'm going to discard this Butler maybe to draw a card. I guess not, because we can also just hold this land and discard that next turn. Yeah, that's probably better. Still cashing in these for 1-for-1 trades, but getting damage in at the same time. Killing that pup again. They have the green combat trick now. They might have it, the like +2/+2 for 1 mana. That could be what that represents, that they waited there for a little bit and thought about it. Because if they had that, it wouldn't affect that combat too much, but it is an instant speed thing to play around with for just a couple green mana. So I think we can probably play around that in future turns. Just consider that they have the 1 green mana +2/+2 spell. Are they still stuck on 3 mana here? That would be pretty unfortunate for our opponent. It could be the case. There comes the timer. Yeah, I guess they are. Weaver Blossoms, though, is going to help with that a lot. A 3/4 that taps for 2 mana right now. Unless we cast 2 creatures, then we flip it back to Dayside. But we can also just trade off with it with attacking him with these 2. So I think we attack in first, but we'll probably cast 2 spells post-combat here. I mean, I'm kind of down for just killing the mana. Now if we don't want to double spell, we don't have to. We could just cash in some blood tokens. Let's see what's in their hand here and get another 3 Power of Menace on the board. 6 mana spell, 5 mana spell, 5 mana spell, 2 mana combat trick, 2 mana blocker. As terrifying as Averbruck Caretaker is, we can definitely kill them before they make it to 6 mana. I don't want to let them draw a card and hit a land here, so I'm just going to decline. You can keep it. You can keep all that nonsense. Do I want to flip to Daytime, or do I want to draw from a blood token? Let's flip to Daytime, make that 6/3 a 1/3, or a 3/3. So they did hit a land, so we know we have perfect information of what their hand is to play around. But that means they're going to play multiple blockers here, play a Doomed Dissenter and a Mind Leech Ghoul. We get to just attack with everybody here. I probably should have been attacking with his Gluttonous Guest a while ago, because they're kind of forced to block the Menace stuff. So we could have chipped in for maybe a couple extra points to had them at like 5 life here. But we are definitely attacking with Undead Butler next turn because of its ability to bring stuff back from the grave. Cash these blood tokens before combat in case I draw an instant. Now that I don't have anything else to play in my hand anyway. Ooh, well, I'm not gonna discard that. We'll just go ahead and cast that. So they're just holding up Witch's Web, give something +3/+3 till end of turn. Doesn't really affect anything because of Menace. Like what, they double block and give +3/+3, they take 3, 4, 5. Yeah, attack everybody. They're gonna kill Celebrants either way. I guess this way they don't lose the Oakshade Stalker. Yeah, I'm guessing double block on Celebrants, hold up the Witch's Web is their play here. Alright, so here they have Witch's Web in hand. And there's going to be no better time to do it than right now. So we just can't kill Stalker. If I throw all the damage on Stalker, they cast this and it stays on board, so we might as well kill the Dissenter. Put the Dissenter at the front of the pile. Because then, like, if they don't cast Witch's Web, they both die. If they do cast Witch's Web, then just Dissenter dies no matter where they put it. If we order it the other way, they throw the web onto the Stalker and neither creature dies. Alright, so here's Harvester. They're at 2, facing 4 creatures that can attack. One of them I can cash in as a removal spell. They have 5 mana now. They're only 1 mana away from the Averbrook Caretaker. We might have to fight through that, but again, it's probably... We probably just have lethal on board whatever turn they cast that. Alright, they scoop them up here because we do still have lethal on board if they only cast 1 creature thanks to Menace. Menace really going off in this deck here. So we attack all, they double block the eye, they only have 1 blocker left that blocks Harvester, and they take exact lethal, 2 damage from our 1 power creatures. Round 4 now. Oh, we have turn 2 Voltaic Visionary, turn 3 Gluttonous Guest, turn 4 Socialite. Pretty nice. Got a curve going, and it's aggressive for being on the play here, putting a 3 power creature out turn 2. Although... seeing the unholy efficient turn 1 from our opponent, Visionary is just going to trade into that, so now that we draw into the curtains, I'll just cast the curtains, flip them next turn, and start attacking with a big Menace creature. Instead of a 3/1 that trades into their 1-drop. They do have the Valorous Stance immediately to blow up the Concealing Curtains. Sad time. Sad time for that card. Guest is not sweet here, just a 1/4. I think we still want to try to get aggressive, so I'll play the Menace creature instead. Drawing pretty well this game. Distracting Geist from our opponent, so they are trying to get aggressive too. They double block here, we kill the Geist. Only kill 1 of their 2 cards. An attack does not seem opportune for us, so I'll just play Socialite and pass. We only kill 1 of their 2 cards, and our options are their 1-drop or their card that can still give them value from the graveyard. Desperate Farmer. Yep, now trading with anything feels really bad because they're activating a 4/3 lifelinker, which is quite annoying. We can go Butler Visionary here, which is kind of nice. Yeah, and then we have good blockers for whatever they do. Attack with Socialite is a 5/5. The only way they kill it is a triple block, and we get to kill whatever we want. which is up to all of their creatures. Up to and including. So yeah, hit for 5. And then we have all the blockers that we need to make sure this desperate farmer does not just start shredding us and gaining them life. I suppose if they sacrifice a creature to flip the farmer, we're in a bit of a bad spot, because they could sacrifice the efficient, which flips the farmer to a 4/3 lifelinker, and then when the distracting Geist attacks in, they can tap down our 3-power creature. We don't block their 4/3 super well then, although we could still block a 2/3 and a 1/2 into the 4/3 and only lose one of them. So yeah, I don't foresee them having a great attack here, even with lifelink. Four cards in hand here, 4 mana up for the black-white opponent. Desperate Farmer number 2 it is. And now they're very, very open to making chump blocks, because that means they'll have 2 4/3 lifelinkers out. Yeah, things are looking to get kind of nasty for us now. It is so hard to race when your opponent can have massive lifelinkers like that out. I mean, I think we're still sending in with the Socialite, but I'm definitely concerned about the lifelinkers. Well, Socialite's still getting in for now, putting them down to 10 life, but that is likely to change pretty quickly. Griff Rider from our opponent, a 2/1 flyer, not really worried about that. We can just take the 2 in the sky as long as they want. Far more worried about the farmers. Does a 4/4 Menace still attack in? Well, they could double block it with their 2/1 Geist and their 2/1 Griff Rider. That's probably their best block. Oh. This is not good. This represents probably Adamant Will for like +2/+2 indestructible. Something like that. I mean, we're definitely going to block with the Butler, if nothing else, because we get back the Concealing Curtains, take a peek at their hand. For 2 mana, what can they do to this 1/2? There's no 2 mana Give It Death Touch card in this format. There's Adamant Will for +2/+2 indestructible. That's genuinely the only thing I can think of. Do we just block with Butler? Because like if they spend a combat trick to kill Butler, we're just happy. Like, I feel like we block with Celebrants because I don't see anything that could possibly kill the Celebrant, so then we just kill the Efficient for free? I guess they're just trying to flip the farmers. Yeah, I guess block with Butler then. Like, now they don't flip the farmers, they don't do any damage. If they do have a combat trick and they want to spend it to kill the Butler, then more power to them, I guess. Alright, so now still attacking with Socialite, probably attacking with Celebrants as well. They do have to double block. So they go, yeah, they go Geist, Griff Rider. Actually kind of scary, because they block with Geist, Griff Rider, then they have 2 4/3 lifelinkers on the board, one of which they can throw the Clever Distraction onto. Not exactly ideal. But I think I'm still sending in. With Blood Fountain, Undead Butler, we have more than enough recursion to win the long game if we can just trade into those 4/3 lifelinkers. And we're forcing them into some blocks here unless they want to go to 1 life. So just start slowly but surely whittling down their board, killing 2 creatures at the cost of 1 of ours. And then they upgrade the farmers, sure, into 4/3s, but then we can make the proper blocks against those, even if they tap down the 3/1. Double block one of them with 3 power from these 2 creatures. Interesting. So we don't even lose a creature here. This looks really good to me. Maybe they do have that Adamant Will I was considering. And they're going to use it now on the Griff Rider. Yeah, I ordered that wrong. I should have thrown Efficient up front in case they had Adamant Will. Although I guess I still kill a creature if they do. Oh, it's Lantern Flare. Well, Lantern Flare definitely gets them out of that one. But the farmers aren't flipped, so just drop a Blood Fountain, pick some sweet cards to play next turn up, and pass the turn. They tap down Visionary with the Geist if they attack in, but we still have good attacks because those are good blocks because the farmers are not flipped. They're just going to go all in here. Fair enough. Actually tap down the Fearful Villager, okay. So I still do get to kill a farmer. And the Geist, I suppose, and we're picking up just a ton of creatures. Yeah, pick up every creature in our graveyard. Hey Koya, how's it going? Some more drafts for sure. About to have a loaded hand here. Concealing Curtain seems like our best creature in grave. Pick up the other 2 next. Wedding Security is the play. I guess we have Voltaic Visionary too. I don't really want to pick that one up, I think. 6 mana. We can play Curtains and flip it and get the Ragged Recluse onto the board. The only way they block Celebrants is if they double block and we get to kill Wedding Security. But we do have to worry about them having the Clever Distraction in their grave to tap down one of our creatures every time they attack. So if we just dump a bunch of creatures onto the board, the only thing they can really attack in with is the Griff Rider. We have so much menace here. The problem is the 4 power of lifelink is such a huge swing back in their favor that I think we actually have to get on the defensive here. So let's Concealing Curtains over the Socialite so I can at least see what's in their hand here. Just in case it's like one last bomb. Unholy Efficient. Nah, you can keep the Efficient. And then we'll play a Ragged Recluse. And just hold off. Alright, so they're just going to make their flyer really, really hard to block. 2/1 flyer that taps down a creature every time it attacks. Ooh, I'm killing that Depraved Harvester the first opportunity I get. Alright, tap down the Revealing Eye. I think that is the best tap for them, because now we can't kill both of these unless we lose all 3 of our creatures. It is actually pretty nasty, but if we get the lifelink off their board, we're hitting them for 3 a turn, they're hitting us for 4, I guess 5. We speed it up with Socialite potentially, but we have a Gluttonous Guest coming down too, which gains some life if we sack the blood to it. I think we take the trades. Like, we're definitely killing the Harvester. If we let the security in, we're taking 7, we're going to 7. I think we're taking the trades. And we are just fingers crossed that we outrace here. It's going to be a really close race. But Bloodcrazed Socialite does hit like a semi-truck. Oh yeah, the 4 life gain. I always forget to counter that in or calculate that in, but that is just so much. Oh Lord. I don't think there's much of a point holding it back because they are tapping down 1 every time they attack. And I guess if we hold it back, like, we don't take the 2 damage, 2 to 3 damage. I'm gonna crack these blood right now, just try to draw the removal for Griff Rider, or do I want to wait till I have Gluttonous Guest on board so I gain life? I feel like I want to wait till I have Gluttonous Guest on board, and I also don't want to play the land, because if I play the land, then I don't have anything in my hand to discard to the blood. So I think next turn we play Guest and just start filtering through blood tokens, trying to gain a bunch of life. And turn the race back in our favor. It is moderately in our opponent's favor right now. Once they get enough counters on these efficients, then they'll be able to even double block one of our menace creatures, and we'll have a huge problem. Alright, so just pass the turn. It is nighttime if we draw any wolves, which is cool. 3, 4, 5... 6, 7 damage from our opponent, because they can put a counter on now and a counter on during their turn. So we need to be at 8 life to survive. So we can go Guest, discard both, or sacrifice both bloods, and we would be at 8 life, which is enough to survive. So do we just attack all in? I think I'm just going to pre-combat the Guest so I can see what I'm drawing into. Because I think that could change things a lot on if we want to attack or not. Like, if I hit nothing but lands, I don't know if I want to attack. Ooh, Wedding Invitation to give lifelink. Unblockability as well, but lifelink is actually just huge here, and it draws a card when we play it. It's got to be better than just cracking 1 more blood token. We can gain 5 life, giving the Bloodcrazed Socialite lifelink here. Our opponent has something instant speed, but that's very well just the efficient's abilities. Or very likely just the efficient's abilities. Yeah, lifelink on the Socialite. If they double block the Revealing Eye and put a counter on an efficient, they still only have 3 power. That doesn't kill the eye, so we do still attack him with that as well. Now we're just gaining a bunch of life, up to 13. Wedding Invitation was, unironically, a huge draw here. I don't think we're playing this land and cracking the blood for the Guest. I think we're leaving the blood to either buff the Socialite or discard this land next turn after we play the Guest. This is going to be a really close race here. A tight race altogether. Wedding Invitation from our opponent, so they can also gain some life off of their Unholy Efficient. It has 2 power, so it would gain 2 life. It only gives lifelink if they put it on a vampire, so they can't gain 3 life throwing it on a Griff Rider or anything. Well, they can gain 3 life throwing it on the bigger efficient then. Yeah, that's pretty bad for us. That just completely counteracts our own wedding invitation, pretty much. Not quite, but it gets close. They are not going to crack it for the life gain yet. They do get to crack it on blocks, I guess. That is a consideration. So we're at 7 life. If we pass back to them, we kind of just die. They're tapping down 2 of our creatures, and one of their cards is going to be unblockable. The Griff Rider hits for 3 guaranteed. We get on to 4. Go down to 4. This efficient can get a counter, so that hits us for 3 guaranteed. So we're going to like 1 life from stuff we literally can't block, even if we had people up or blockers up. I don't think I can go all out and attack here, though, either. Because they have more than enough blockers to survive, so I think we are just drawing the card off this blood token. Hoping for something here. Flame Blessed Bolt would be incredible. Bloodseeker's not bad. We do get another blood token from it because we gained a life this turn. We'll get it in the end step. Is that better than playing the guest? Probably play both, and then we just don't have a card in hand to sacrifice that next blood token. But that's okay, because it sets up our next turn really well if we do survive through this turn. If we attack in with a 3-4 Menace now, they can double block with a 2-3 and a 2-1. I guess they can double block with these 2. No, they'd have to block with Geist as well if they want to kill it. But if we attack with Socialite, they can block it with a 2-3 and a 1-2. And kill it at the cost of just 1 creature, which feels not ideal. Yeah, just the Revealing Eye, I think. Double Distracting Geist is like such a hindrance on blockers here. And the Vigilance on the Unholy Efficients is really coming in hot for our opponent. If it weren't for the lifelink on Wedding Invitation, I think we could find lethal next turn, but because of the lifelink, we're going to have to find a way to survive another attack after this one. This is a wild game. And our opponent is going deep into the think tank here, because they are also concerned about dying at any moment. It's not a fun position for either of us. Down to the last hourglass here. They got to make a decision now. Make the Geist unblockable. That means no life gain, since it is not a vampire. That could be big for us if we don't die right here. Then that makes it likely we can get a crackback, thanks to the lack of lifelink on this attack. They have enough mana to put a single +1/+1 counter on one of their efficients. I think even if we lose everything we block with here, as long as we don't die on the spot, like we have lethal on crackback, right? Unless they have a like another source of life gain in their hand. So I think we just make every block that we can in case their last card in hand is +2/+2. We've got plenty of time to think, because I'm just thinking during their hourglass right now. So yeah, I mean, we go like this. They put a counter on this efficient to kill that, but then we have well over 5 damage on board, 6 of it with Menace. I mean, 8 of it with Menace if we sack that to the Socialite. If they have +2/+2 Indestructible here, we take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, it's +3/+3 Indestructible, so if they have that, then we just die. Or is it +2/+2? If it's +2/+2, we go to 1 life. So we play around that by doing this. And these are the only legal blocks we can make. These are all unblockable. Yeah, I don't see what this could be where this block punishes us hard, because we have enough creatures left on the board to kill them anyway. After this, even if both of these die, and I don't see any way they can kill Socialite on this block. I think we just barely scrape by here and find lethal here. Yeah, right, because they have 1 blocker. The Menace alone kills them. We gain life from this blood token to be safe. Draw 1 last card. I mean, I guess it doesn't really... Like, if they get another turn, then we die regardless. So I guess we should have just cracked that to the Socialite. Yeah, no, that was actually a big misplay. If they survive with, like, 1 life, they earned it here. Yeah, I was like, I want to gain the life to be safe, but I'm like, no, they have well over lethal even if we gain 1 more life. Should have just cracked that to the Socialite more likely, but... It'll still work out for us. A really close game there. So here we are in round 5 with the Rakdos deck. No red source here. If we immediately draw Mountain, we're living the dream, but we're on the play. So we're not even on the draw here. I'm going to mulligan this one. And I'll keep this one. Wedding Invitation, even though it doesn't have immediate impact, does help us hit lands, because it like immediately draws us another card when we play it. So I do kind of still like that. Maybe just Ragged Recluse is my least favorite here, because we don't have any blood tokens till turn 5 in our hand, and just a 2-mana 2/1 is not super exciting. Undead Butler like gets out there and it's really annoying to attack into, because we just get our best creature back. I think that's what I'm getting rid of here. Keeping Invitation because we have 5-drop in hand to try to draw into, so just cantrip card draw like Wedding Invitation is nice to help get there. Ooh. Bad hits off Undead Butler, no creature hit there. We are the 18 creature deck, so that was just a sad turn of events for us. We do draw a great 4-drop here, which is excellent. Some extra lands, but we've got the blood tokens late in the game to discard those. That's why we are running 18 lands as well. So turn 4 Socialite coming on out. Our opponent's on green-blue with a Weaver of Blossoms on board, so they have the mana to do whatever they please next turn, most likely. They'll have 5 mana if they play a basic land, and they do. Cloaked Cadet it is. When 1 or more +1/+1 counters are put onto humans they control, they draw a card. So if they have the 4-mana enchantment that puts a +1/+1 counter on one of their creatures every turn, then they are really going to go off. Without it, they don't have anything to train that up yet, so without it, we're feeling pretty fine. Let's just send in this Socialite to slap them pretty hard here, cracking the blood token. We're going to have 3 more blood tokens coming up, 2 from the Celebrants and 1 from the Blood Fountain. So we've got more than enough to just get in for some damage here with that. And the 1-2 punch of being able to crack the Wedding Invitation for the final 5 damage against our opponent, as long as we have a Bloodcrazed Socialite on board, is super nice. If we get aggressive enough, then 5 life for our opponent is almost the same as 0. Cruel Witness from our opponent. That is a big enough creature to train the Cloaked Cadet, get them to start drawing cards, but that will require them to be attacking us, not holding creatures back to block with. Ooh, love drawing another Bloodcrazed Socialite. So I don't even have to crack any blood tokens here, we can just stay aggressive. With Blood Fountain and Undead Butler on board, I'm okay with trading these menace creatures 1 for 1. They can make a good block where they block with a 3/3 and a 2/4 and only lose 1 creature. But again, with Blood Fountain and Undead Butler, we are willing to make those kinds of trades. Alright, what would I rather kill out of all of this? Probably the 3/3 flyer, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go with the 3/3 flyer. Just the highest power, more likely to stack up into a good double block. Here comes Shatterstorm from our opponent, destroy all artifacts. They're taking a look at all of our artifacts down here and it's making me nervous. I don't think there's anything like that in this set. So our opponent has 7 mana now, thanks to Weaver Blossoms and 6 lands. Could be a Hullbreaker Horror from our opponent, so I kind of like just dropping Concealing Curtains, checking out their hand, seeing if we get to make them discard a card. And now they have to just slam it down pre-combat if it is, or else I'm making them discard it. Scattered Thoughts, alright. No big old Hullbreaker Horror. And this is also putting another 3 Power of Menace on the board, so it's great for our board state next turn. So it is the night time, so these are both actually pretty good. But they can't cast any right now, they can only cast 1 next turn. They're forced into double blocks here to not die. So we get to kill the werewolf. I don't think I'm getting... I think I'm just declining again. They can keep that nonsense in hand. And we should be fine. Like, we just hit for 5 here, because one of these gets in, and we hit for the next 5 next turn by leaving a blood token behind for our next attack with unblockability with Wedding Invitation. We just need to not let them draw into removal, so we're not going to discard one of those creatures, because if they don't hit removal, Wedding Invitation makes one of these Socialites unblockable next turn, whichever one survives through this turn. So yeah, put them to 5 life this turn, next turn attack with an unblockable 5 power Socialite. And I'll kill their mana, so they are less likely to play a lot of creatures next turn. They do have the Selhoff and Tumor helping them a lot here, letting them discard those creatures to draw more cards. So they're going to dig far for removal for the Socialite, potentially. I'm still going to play the land here. Makes it more easy to pick up a creature and immediately cast it to the fountain, and we're not going to be discarding a card to this blood token because we're going to sacrifice it to the Socialite for lethal, if possible. Alright, so 2 cards in their hand that we don't know about. One of those 2 has to be removal for them to survive another turn thanks to Wedding Invitation. This is another game. I think I should have been attacking with Undead Butler more aggressively, because if it ever dies, like, we're just getting a Socialite back from the grave. I guess Celebrants wasn't dead till like 2 turns ago, but I should have attacked with it last turn, I think. Diver Scab, throw the Bloodcrazed Socialite on top of our library. That'll do it. They do have to exploit a creature though, which means they're still down to 2 creatures on the board. We'll just recast it here. And it still presents lethal next turn. We don't have great attacks now, but we could still attack with Butler. What does that accomplish? I mean, it brings back a Socialite to our hand that we can't cast this turn anyway. Yeah, I guess since we just dumped all our mana into the first one, no reason to attack with Butler. Yeah, we can attack with it later to guaranteed get some more damage in. By going wide enough. Here it doesn't, like, it just dies and we have another Socialite sitting in hand. Alright, send in the squad. Drawing a card off Cloaked Cadet, digging deep for another removal spell. Guess we'll draw off Butler here. Since we stop damage this way too. Socialite hits harder than the Celebrants do, so I'm just going to take Socialite. It's also cheaper to cast, so more likely to be able to double spell with it. Did they draw into the removal they need from their final draw here? A Cruel Witness, that's 1 blocker. 2 cards left in hand. An Apprentice Sharpshooter holding a single blue up. A single blue is not enough to bounce a Socialite or anything. So I believe that we're good. Let's find out. But pretty sure we're good here. Just an unblockable 5/5 sending in. I could be wrong. There could be an uncommon I'm not thinking of, but I don't think there's a 1 blue mana common that they have available. Nope, that is game. The Menace blood-producing dorks just really getting in there yet again. Bloodcrazed Socialites and Falconwrath Celebrants, premier common creatures in their respective colors. GG, indeed, saucy. Does limited rank decay slower than constructed? I think a little bit. I don't know, I don't play constructed, so I couldn't tell you how fast or slow constructed decays in comparison. This hand's pretty great. Got that invitation again early on to help us draw that 5th land, and then just cash it in later for potential lethal. Playing against green-red with Reclusive Taxidermist to start out. +3/+2 as long as there are 4 or more creature cards in your graveyard. Oh, you can switch to traditional also. That's true. Yeah, traditional draft could be fun. Do some best 2 out of 3. None of these are really good enough to just cash in the Butler yet. Ideally, I'd just pick up Celebrants, but I already have one in hand, so I'm not even going to cast the one I pick up till turn 6. So we'll just hold on to the Butler so we can get a chump block out of it and cash it in. Gain some life and draw the card. Four mana now. We cash in Butler for the guests? I don't think so. Let's just play Invitation, see what we draw. Reckless Impulse. While I'm not using that 2 mana on anything else, I don't know if it's worth impulsing here when I have a great 5 mana play for next turn. Like, I'm going to tap out for Impulse, already played land for turn, already tapped out, so I'm not playing anything I draw off of it. Yeah, no, I think I just play Celebrants next turn, and then we'll Impulse the turn after that. Play it a bit slowly here, because I could get hosed by the Impulse. If I just hit like a Fearful Villager in a land, then I'm going to want to use that rather than having it go away forever. That would be a much worse use of my time next turn than just playing Falconwrath Celebrants. Alright, they're training up the Sharpshooter. Let's see if they have the combat trick here. I certainly would hope not, but it's always a possibility in green. We don't get blown out that badly if they do. We do get the Butler value. They do have the combat trick. Just start drawing a bunch of Falconwrath Celebrants and playing these every single turn from now on. If I'm ever getting hit too hard by their menace creatures, we could go ahead and just give one lifelink and cash in on some life gain. We're definitely going to play the 6th land at this point, so that we can start filtering these lands away. No attacks. Not wanting to chip in for the couple menace damage there. They are going to Wolf Strike the Celebrants. Alright. Well, here's the next one. And now we've got more than enough blood tokens to filter through all these land draws and keep hitting gas. Seems good to me. Sharpshooter getting annoyingly large. It's certainly a problem. Love to double spell next turn, so I think we're going to Reckless Impulse then. We draw Blood Fountain. Blood Fountain Impulse are 2 things to play. Blood Fountain Crack It would cost 5 mana total. We have 6, that'd be 7, minus 5 is 2, that's not enough to cast anything we pick up. I think we Reckless Impulse. And Blood Tithe Harvester, there we go, that's double spell. Plus we get the land play from it. So Werewolf's down to a 2/3, Harvester's big enough to kill Sharpshooter. I'm feeling pretty good now. Just cycle through these blood tokens. I think I do start attacking. We're going to take 5 damage next turn. Down to 9, but we have again that 4 life gain to cash in at any point. I guess we can see if we draw our Flame Blessed Bolt. It's not really going to change the combat, but we could consider it. Alright, we don't hit it. No, I can't trade with Villager, it has Menace. Got lucky and picked up 3 Blood Tithe Harvesters in your last draft. I did as well. There are 3 in this deck. It is absolutely absurd. I feel like with Blood Fountain out, I'm really likely to want untapped lands this whole time, but I could just discard Evolving Wilds next turn if I don't want to crack it there. Alright, so Harvester gives -6, -6. So if they have a combat trick, they do save Sharpshooter. They have 2 cards in their hand. How likely is one of those 2 to be another combat trick? I feel like it's not super likely. I don't really have a way to just spit out a blood token right now. Alright, let's see. Alright, awesome. So I can't really double spell to flip the werewolf, but I can go ahead and gain some life here. Get value off the Bloodseeker and flip the Bloodseeker pretty easily. Spend 4 on Blood Fountain. I have 8 total. If I have 2 2-mana creatures, that works, but I don't. I just have 1. Oh, I do. I have Bloodseeker. Yeah, that does work. So Blood Fountain, Bloodseeker, and Harvester. And I'm double spelling this turn too, so I don't have to worry about the werewolf too hard. Yeah, and I don't have to cash in the life gain here anymore. Although I could if I want to. Let's make sure this is doing it right. They're perfect. I feel like picking up a Gluttonous Guest would not be bad either. Yeah, the Blood Tithe Harvesters are just an excellent time altogether, for sure. I'm feeling pretty stabilized here. I don't know about all you, but I think we get there at this point. And we even get to drain life if we're that worried, but we're not. Always have the life gain on Wedding Invitation to crack at any point. I'm not even going to play the Fearful Villager. I'll just play it safe and crack blood to the... discard the Evolving Wilds and some other stuff. We've got so much overlethal here. With Bloodsoaked Reveler's ability, we just give something unblockable and use Reveler for the rest. Cool. Another bloody black-red deck. Yeah, they seem to be just pretty ridiculous. Probably like the best decks in this format, in my opinion. Not by like a massive amount. Like I don't think they're super overpowered, but they are very nice. But it's also kind of early in the format to tell. But yeah, they can just shred. How's it going, Physics Creature? It's going super well here. We're 6-0 right now with the first draft of the night. Either them or Gruul Werewolves. That's true. Yeah, the red aggressive stuff's been really, really nice here. All of the cheap red removal and the blood tokens have been really awesome. So all the red creatures that produce those. So here's a look at the deck for everybody who's shown up in the middle of the draft here. Just one look at the deck before we head into the final boss and see if we can't 7-0 with this one. But this was a really nice draft. Triple Socialite, triple Blood Tithe Harvester. Our pick one, pack one was a nice bomb rare, the Revealing Eye. Flipping this and just attacking with a 3/4 menace turn 3 is always nice. The only thing that I don't like about this deck really is our lack of removal. We have 1 Flame Blessed Bolt and 3 Blood Tithe Harvester, but it has been working out perfectly fine so far. 3 Blood Tithe Harvester with Blood Fountain to pick them back up potentially. It's been more than enough removal in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, really nice deck overall. Not the perfect deck. Some of our cards have been kind of mediocre. Even with 12 blood tokens, Ragged Recluse has been a little bit annoying to try to flip. And other than that, I mean, we're running some somewhat filler stuff, like maybe Wedding Invitations a little bit filler. Or the Fearful Villagers maybe a little bit. But everything's been working super hot, so I don't really have any glaring flaws with this deck or glaring issues with it. And I'm just trying out the Wedding Invitation because the creature count is so high. Just have some more non-creature stuff, some more versatility in what we draw, so we're not just plopping out creatures doing nothing else. Bombs are annoying in the format, but apart from the slug, you found them beatable. That's nice. Yeah, I mean, I've been wrecked by the Faithless Judge more than anything else, but that's just like variance, because I've just gotten paired up against it like 4 times already. The 3-mana 4/4 Flying Vigilance, it has Defender for the first 3 turns, but after that it's just a cheap Serra Angel, and if you ever kill it, it comes back as a 7-mana enchantment that kills you in 3 turns. Every time you've played Toxtrol, he's been insta-removed. That is the idea. That is the correct way to play around Toxtrol. Just remove it immediately. I've played against Averbruck Caretaker twice. Most recently today, my opponent just died before they made it to 6 mana, but I had the Curtain card, Concealing Curtain, so I could tell that they had it in hand. So I got to see it in hand and be like, you can keep that. So that was a good feeling. Just seeing that they don't get to even cast it that game. That was nice. So Flame Blast Bolt actually going to be super sweet this game. Kill this Snarling Wolf if nothing else. Oh, Flame Blast Bolt going to be super sweet this game. Kill our Blood Tithe Harvester. I'm just going to keep playing creatures though. I'll let them deal the 1 damage a turn with the wolf for a while. Carebrick usually wrecks you, same with Judge. Yeah, I think the Judge is my arch rival. Because, I don't know, I just keep getting paired against it. I think I beat it once and lost to it 3 times. Something like that. But I'm 2-0 against Avabrook Caretaker. Alluring Suitor. When they attack with exactly 2 creatures. Yeah, this card's sick. So we want to stop them from doing that, which means we want to just bolt the wolf before they can go to combat. Got more than enough mana to do that. We can just play the Visionary, play a land, and hold up a bolt. Look at me casting everything main phase 1. Putting my cards on the table. Look, this is what I got. You don't have to imagine what's in my hand, I'll tell you right now. I should have bolted the frickin' wolf already. Because now they can buff it if I try to bolt it. But if they attack him with Suitor to flip it here, they do have to attack with both creatures, which leaves them vulnerable, and we have 6 power on board, so it might not be the worst thing ever. But probably a mistake. Alright, go for it, my friend. Go for it, because I forgot to bolt the wolf. Falconwrath Celebrants. Okay, it was definitely a mistake because I forgot that the Deadly Dancer gives them mana. So now they play this big bomb on me. Not a bomb, this big creature on me. Got my own copy. And that was super bad. We definitely should have killed that wolf. Earlier. The Celebrant fight begins. Celebrants v Celebrants, let's go. They both have menace though, so they don't even get to fight each other. They just fight past each other. Helena and Elena, probably the worst bomb you've come up against. That one's pretty sick, right? I have one, but I decided not to splash it here. Because our just core Rakdos aggro stuff is so good. If I lose this game, I earned the loss, because I let them cast Celebrants 2 turns early by not killing the wolf. We'll see what happens here. Toxic Scorpion. Cool. That's fine. I'll trade a 3-1 for the 3-3 still. Oh, this is mega fine. 2 mana, they could have Sure Strike. That makes blocking Celebrants pretty bad. How badly do I want to play against Sure Strike? I feel like they just want to get aggressive here. I'm not going to play around Sure Strike. We'll see if it bites me. If they Sure Strike, they win this game. If they don't Sure Strike, I like this position a lot. They have a 1-1 and I have a 3-2. Sure, the 1-1 has Death Touch, but I have a Blood Fountain too to pick up our best creatures. Alright, no Sure Strike. Feeling good. A little bit of a recovery after the early Celebrants from our opponent. Ooh, Undead Butler. Don't have the mana to do that and still crack the Fountain. And if I crack the Fountain, I'm not putting anything on this board. Definitely don't love that. Do I cash in the Guess to kill the Scorpion? Sure, and then if they don't block, I just play a 1-2 to block it. We don't have any other Flame Blessed Bolts in this deck, so it's not like I'm going to have any removal to kill the Scorpion. The only thing I can do to kill it is trade a small creature into it, and Guest is right in the middle. of where our small creatures are, so I'll just offer the trade here because we still get damage and a blood token, even if they take the trade. A braid it is. Alright, so now we'll just Butler. We have some excellent cards to pick up when this Butler dies. Though Scorpion is probably not attacking in. Ooh, Saucy's about to get timed out. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. What do we have in graveyard here? Nothing that's gonna kill Helena, obviously. Nothing that's really gonna put too much pressure on our opponent either. Let's just get something that's at least a 3/3 to block the Scorpion and trade with it. I guess that turns into a 5/5, right? Yeah, it's gonna turn into a 5/5 next turn. Oh, I think we just die then. I feel like the odds of them having another good card are really low, so I don't really want the curtains. I kind of just like the cheapest creature that also has a decently high power, so we could double up on creatures if we draw something good. That turns into a 3/3, so Helena and Elena can't get in. It's probably better than the 3/1, so we play that, discard a card, make this a 3/3. And we're digging. Digging for our two other copies of Blood Tithe Harvester here. That is not one of them, but we can discard that to draw another card. Man, if the Flame Blessed Bolt didn't exile here, we could just pick up Blood Tithe Harvester and do that, but Flame Blessed Bolt exiling is so good in this format. Falcon Wrath Celebrants as well. Just add some more icing on the cake. And now there's a 6/6 Menace out. And we're going to play another 3/3 next turn, so we'll still be able to block Helena. If I don't block here, I take 9. Now even if I kill them, I die, right? Because they give haste too. So they hasted that up and slapped in for 6. It's going to be an 8 power menace creature. Blood Tithe Harvester too late. Blood Tithe Harvester does not have haste. Yep, we can only play one blocker. That'll be an 8 power menace creature. Didn't even notice the haste part until they played that Celebrants, good lord. Alright. Well, this is definitely a mulligan. And this is definitely a keep. Concealing Curtains to flip on turn 3. As soon as we hit a land, we are on to Bloodcrazed Socialite. We have a Blood Fountain to get a blood token. If we don't hit a land, we can discard whatever nonsense we draw. I guess alternatively we just get rid of the Blood Fountain, but I really like the card, especially with quality creatures like this, and the worst case scenario is it gives us the blood token to get rid of to make sure we hit the next land. Yeah, this hand is sweet. Ooh, could go Wedding Invitation here to try to just straight up draw the land. But I could also just show off the cool combos with Blood Fountain, where I just Blood Fountain discard the Celebrants, and then I'll just pick it up to the fountain later anyway. We don't need the land till turn 4, so I think we can just Invitation here. Nice. Hit the land. Never punished. The hand is now perfect. Our opponent's on green-white, sending in the Disciple. I am not gonna... Well, would I trade Curtains for an Adamant Will? When we have Socialite in hand, sure. Show me the Adamant Will. No adamant will. Cool, so I saved 2 life. Griff Rider. 2/1 flyer with training. So if they play another human, that will attack as a 3/3, which will train the Griff Rider, which will be bad for us. What do they have? Curtains. Land, Shield Basher? Well, goodbye, Shield Basher. You just have land, question mark now. Seems good to me. I could see an argument for holding Revealing Eye back in case they top deck a human. If they top deck a human, Disciple does attack for 3, which makes Rider active. They did top deck a human, so the attack does look kind of bad there. They top deck 2 humans. Well, they are going for it here. We draw another Socialite. That is pretty excellent. I think we just want to play the big old Socialite. And now, just sitting here to block stuff. Have a good night, Anger, and thanks for stopping by, and thanks for the good luck. You know, with Wedding Invitation to, like, flip things around and gain me 5 life on an attack, I think I'm just going to attack in here. Like, they have a Plains in hand. If they don't top deck another human, they buff that and attack with both of these, and I get to kill the trainee. They put some more counters on the Griff Rider, I guess. I think we just try to race real fast with Socialites. They're going to be, yeah, we're life gaining for 5, and we're attacking with 5/5 menace creatures the next couple turns here. Like, if we had a land after the turn we play Socialite, Celebrants just gives us the 2 blood tokens we need to buff both the Socialites again. Buff the trainee. Maybe they're just gaining life here and not attacking on the ground. Oh, it gets buffed from the training, from the Griff Rider. That is true. That is annoying. I am not going to take the trade. We lose the Socialite and they throw the counter onto something else. Traveling Minister is putting in all kinds of work here. I'm not a big fan. So they don't, I mean, they're only gaining 1 life a turn. We're going to gain 5 here and be at 12. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they train everything on the board, we'll treat these as 1 more damage, just in case somehow everything on their board trains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But we have another blocker to block their biggest ground creature. We do survive attacking all here. But is it right to do so? Yeah, they don't have a good double block. So we just hit for like 8 probably. Because they're not going to block the eye. Let's get that life gain here. I could see not attacking with Revealing Eye, but we are definitely attacking with Socialite. I think I'm just going to go all out attack with both here. And I'd rather actually play the Socialite than the Celebrants because it just attacks harder. It attacks for 5 instead of 4. Although I guess the Celebrants does block better. And we might have to make a block next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah. We're going to have to make a block next turn. Yeah, we'll go Celebrants. They're gaining 1 life here. Our board is all menace. We have a 3 power, 5 power, and 4 power menace creature here. If they go all in, the odds of us getting a lethal crackback are immensely high. Buff the spirit, they can give it... They cannot give it first strike, but they can trade into Celebrants with it. If they attack with it and Griff Rider, we take 8. Or lose the Rider. Okay, start attacking like this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. We go to 1 life. Go to 1 life. If they play a creature, they can double block the 5/5 and take 7, and they'll be at 1 life, and then we die. If their other card in hand is not a creature... If we block like this, we take 8 and go to 4. We're still just dead in the sky next turn. I think we're dead in the sky next turn no matter what. Because if we block like this, we take 7, which puts us to 5, and then Minister on the Griff Rider makes it 5 in the sky. So because we're dead in the sky next turn no matter what, I guess we block Trainee. But don't block somewhere to lose a creature. Because if we block the 4/1, like... we're losing a creature and still dead next turn. So we might as well keep the creature, make them lose 1. Alright, no creature from our opponent, please. Fingers crossed. Or top deck the Flame Blessed Bolt for us to get rid of a 2 toughness creature if that's what they're playing. Oh, Fleeting Spirit comes back untapped. One of the few cards that comes back untapped. That's just game. Because they double block, we die to the flyer. 1 turn off. I guess we dig deep with the blood tokens. Yeah, we dig with the blood tokens here. We need something immediately castable, so we'll discard our more expensive cards first. Celebrants doesn't do it. Come on. We're digging. We have 1 more dig after this. We get to play Blood Fountain, spend the black to dig 1 more time for the red removal. Too much. Yep, no lethal here. Double block Socialite takes 7. Yeah, that was a super unfortunate game because we literally saw our opponent's whole hand with our Revealing Eye. They just hit straight gas. This is a slow hand, but a powerful late game. If we play against a similar, just like aggro green-white deck, this could be a 6-3 run here. But if they are also mid-range, we have some real big power late game. Alright, well, Taxidermist, they are ramping up. Mana of any color off that card. Yeah, we're doing the thing our deck does. We're just going to play some big old menace creatures every turn. Turn 4 and later. So that will be pretty wild. Vile Spawn Spider from our opponent. 2/3 reach, they mill a card during their upkeep. Eventually they crack it for a bunch of 1/1s. Uh-oh, Pack Song Pup to go with the Taxidermist here, so they're getting the aggro curve here. 3 creatures out turn 3. They're all going to be good attackers. Blood Scythe Harvester is a pretty sick draw. Do I play the Harvester instead of the... Oh, this is a human druid. I thought this was a wolf. So Pack Song Pup's actually not that great. I think we play Harvester over the Guest, if I'm being honest, so that we can blow up the Spider. Or if they play a better creature, we can blow that up instead. I feel like the Spider combos really well with the Taxidermist to make this active earlier and get a bunch of 1/1s off of that. Another Mana Dork here. This one's a wolf, so we might want to kill that instead because it stops the Packsong Pup from getting counters. Or we also might want to just kill the Packsong Pup. Sending these in, getting aggressive here. I guess if I want to crack the Harvester to kill either of these, I could just kill them right now instead. So I can stop some damage in the process. If they're willing to do this, I feel like they really want to leave their Mana Dorks, because they're still on 3 lands here, unless they play a land post-combat. I'm going to kill one of the Mana Dorks. I feel like they're trying to get this to pop. That's true, they have the 1 green mana up too. Well, they have Evolving Wilds too. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't need the mana. I don't know, I don't want them to just ramp into those 6/6s that gain 1,000,000 life. That feels bad. Yeah, and Harvester, by killing this, we shut off the Packsong Pup from getting more counters for a while too. I think that's what I want to do. Do they have the 1 green trick here? No, they don't use it. Uh-oh, black mana? The splash here? Fell Stinger. Exploit a card, draw a couple cards. Thanks for the follow, Toby. So exploit the Mana Dork. Alright, well, they don't need the mana anymore. Drawn to Apprentice Sharpshooter. So we can hit them for the big 5, but they can double block with the Death Toucher and the 1/4, and they only lose 1 creature. And we're just going to keep playing Celebrants and Socialites and just stuff everywhere. Kind of like whittling down the board a little bit. Could cash in for the 5 life gain. But I like that as like a big game ender too. I'm going to send in. See if we get rid of this Death Toucher here. No, take the 5. I love that when we've got Wedding Invitation on board. You know, again, Socialite does hit harder than Celebrants do when we have 2 Celebrants in hand to get 4 more blood over time. So we can just do this and then we just crack a blood token in their end step. And then we just start running out Celebrants these next couple turns. Alright, getting some training, hitting us hard here. Ooh, Blood Fountain. Pick up a Harvester. Not bad at all. Do need 6 mana to... or 7 mana to play the Fountain, crack it, and Harvester in the same turn. I think we're just playing a Celebrants and then slamming in with these Socialites once we have the blood for them. Take 10. Go to 3. They have got to be trying to find lethal against us next turn. What are they going to kill Celebrants? They do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They have a combat trick after they kill Celebrants? I feel like I have to crack this on Socialite. Because I feel like they just do not do this unless they have lethal next turn. Like... Because if they don't have lethal next turn, then we crack Invitation on a Socialite and then kill them next turn, guaranteed. I mean, we can't ever know what's going on in our opponent's head, so they might just not see that. They might just not be considering the Invitation. Oh... Like, if this was, like, pro-level competitive Magic, I'm cracking Invitation every time. I'm gonna get blown out here. I'm gonna cry so hard, I swear. They're just gonna not have lethal. They're just gonna have not noticed that Wedding Invitation would just kill them. Yeah, Wolf plus removal is lethal, Combat Trick plus removal is lethal. There's a lot of ways they could have lethal. But I just don't know if that was their plan here. And we're still pretty likely to just have lethal even without the Invitation here. They need to play 2 more blockers because they have to have 6 to block 3 menace creatures, and if a single one gets in, they die. We don't even have to sacrifice any blood to the Socialites for it to be lethal. Yeah, no, cracking Wedding Invitation just has to be right there. Even if they just didn't notice. Alright, well, 4 1/1s, that's enough creatures. So they don't get to attack in super hot, because now they're on the full defensive. Our opponent has 1 card in hand, so I genuinely think they just didn't know that Wedding Invitation would just kill them next turn. Which makes me very sad. But whatever, we played correctly, I think. Because it was just too risky to just go all out there. Now that they have a million blockers, I think we are buffing the Socialites. Oh, they also could have thought the spider was instant. That's very true. Time Carpet could be that too. And they were actually planning on going for like the blocks there. With that. Another good point from Time Carp. Opponent gains some life from the Pack Song Pup, which is going to be annoying. I'm not too unhappy with these blocks from our opponent. Yeah, sure. We just want to whittle down their creature count, so if we can kill 2 creatures in all of these blocks, that's cool with me. Even if we are losing a couple of ours. Well, that was a big old swing. Changes the board state a lot. Wolf can outcast. Alright, one of the menace creatures gets in. They double block the other one. Still sending with everybody, I think. I think we just play more creatures. Both the guests, the gluttonous and the belligerent. We know they have no instants in hand. So just getting rid of the Wolfkin outcast here, or And it depends on if they want to kill one of our creatures or not. If they want to kill one of our creatures, then we do get to get rid of the Wolfkin Outcast. Nice. Alright, we'll take it. They are down to 1, and now we're just going to have a lot of creatures out. Could have gained a life by playing Gluttonous Guest pre-combat, I guess. Probably would have been better. They have nothing in hand to like play around with, to try to play around the guests or anything weird. Well, Mythic 333, not as good as we could have ended up, getting a loss in there in the end. Against that green-white deck. Or a couple losses in there. I already erased the second loss from my memory. But yeah, overall a great, great deck here. Very happy with how open the black-red stuff ended up being. Some super late Socialites, Harvesters everywhere. Really nice deck overall. Biggest flaw being the lack of big removal. The lack of removal, period. Because in that green-white game, if we just had any removal to kill their flyer at any point, that would have changed things dramatically. We just don't have a lot of removal. So, definitely the biggest flaw, but everything else in the deck is super nice. Having the 18 lands with so many blood tokens was nice. So that we know on average we're definitely making it to our 4-drops and 5-drops more often than not. That was really nice, and I do like that having a deck with so many blood tokens in it does let you run a really high land count like that, because you can really filter them away later. Ragged Recluse was just so, even with as many blood tokens as we have, was pretty slow. Voltaic Visionary didn't do too much for us. But other than that, I think pretty much everything performed as imagined, except Gluttonous Guest was also a bit slow for us, because we did end up being pretty aggressive. I don't know if anything in our sideboard is better than these 3. I think these were probably the weakest in our deck overall after playing it out. So pretty nice stuff all around. Well, that is going to end the draft for today. As always, if you enjoy limited Magic Arena videos, I have plenty of those here on the YouTube channel. Just stick around for more of that. Or if you'd like to catch me live and maybe chat with me a little bit, there is the Twitch channel link in the description below for that. So as always, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon for some more Magic Arena.